Would you look at that? Well, shoot. It's okay. Sorry about all that moving around. I do not need any more books. Got a smaller one of these. The house. Still works. Kind of like the room. This is one of those estate sales that you really like because you get to go dig in a lot of old stuff. May not be in the best of shape, but there's a lot of old stuff in this house. Well, where this is the outhouse. This is the, not the outhouse, but this is the mother-in-law suite out back. Oh, that's kind of cute. Was it $4 a piece? Shopping. Light isn't great in here, but I don't know what that does. Oh, I got it. built-in corner cabinets.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put this underneath here. I'm fixing to get this set of china.
Okay.
This is mine. Oh gosh, that's.
Okay. Welcome back to South Georgia Home. I'll go ahead and apologize for how I look. There's little to no makeup on my face. I did put a little lip gloss on. There's no earrings, no rings, nothing. I am who I am today. I got up this morning and I was, I hate to use the word hoeing around in my garden, but you know, the garden hoe. I was taking that out there and trying to get the grass and weeds out for my potato rows. I did 2 rows last night and 2 rows this morning. And I've got 4 more to go, maybe, something like that. I don't know, maybe 3. Anyway, and then the rest of the garden where the green beans are, all that has to be done too. So I try to do it in the morning when it's cool, in the afternoon before the sun's really high out. So that's what I've been doing today. I'm taking advantage of this time because Jason has gone to look after my nephew and his family's on a week-long cruise. So Jason's going over looking after their chickens and their dog. So he's gone to do that. And I have not yet gotten onto another project, which is cleaning out another flower bed. I will say, I told you the last one that I bought a hawk at Tractor Supply, a fake hawk. I called him Carl. I did give him a name, Carl. And Carl is working out just fine. So far, I haven't seen a lot of the chicken activity in my front yard since Carl's been there. Now, I do move him. I keep him moved quite frequently because I don't want him to get used to where he is. It was funny, the first day I put him on the corner there, and when I let him out, they ran over to this back corner, which is their typical MO. Between us and the next lot, there's nobody on the next lot, it's just trees and grass. And they'll go over there and scratch around, but I saw them in the tree line and they were just staring, stock still staring over here at the corner of the house. I guess they had spotted Carl and they were very leery of him, trying to suss him out, you know. Anyway, Carl's working out great. Highly recommend it versus getting one of those motion activated spray. We just haven't had good luck with those things. But anyway, we have a haul from yesterday, Friday. We went to a yard sale and 2 estate sales. And we stopped at, I call it an antique mall, but it was, I think its sign said indoor flea market, something like that. So we're gonna try to get through it quickly because I do want to tack on, we've got some film of how I preserve my English peas. And they came out, all of them just came out. I plucked all the bushes out this morning when I got through what I was doing potatoes. I got all those out. And I sit under the tree in the shade in a chair, and I plucked off which ones were on the vine because the vines are just about done. So, and I need that space. So it was time for them to go. So that was another thing I was doing outside today. Anyway, we have some footage of how I preserve my English peas. We're trying to tack that on, so let's see if we can go through this pretty quickly, and we'll tack that on. Now if it gets too long, we may tack it on to the next one. Next week is Flee Across Florida, and I hope to get there and get some stuff too. So it may go, it'll either go on this one or it'll go on next week's. So we'll get started. I will show you, we went to yard sale first because we got there so early. My husband was like, can you find something else for us to do besides sit in the car for an hour? So there was a yard sale close by, we went to it. I think it was 3 young guys, and they had a business that said junk removal, so I'm pretty sure they were just cleaning out houses, abandoned houses, or houses where a lot of stuff's left behind, whatever, because it was an eclectic group of stuff. There were people there getting weed eaters, lamps, books, glassware. I mean, it was all kinds of stuff. So we bought these for Nanny. It's just paperback books. They had totes and totes of books. They had, you know, dieting books, cookbooks. They had coffee table books, religious books, and they had the good old-fashioned romance novels. So we got 3 for Nanny. And these are temperature regulating pillowcases. Jason is a very hot nature person, so if I'm cold, he's hot. If I'm comfortable, he's burning up. So he has his own pillow, a cooling pillow, and when I make up the bed, I don't like the way it looks on the bed, so we keep it in the closet. And at night he'll bring it out. He'll swap up the pillow that looks good on the bed for the pillow that he sleeps on. Excuse me. So we get a different set of pillowcases for that pillow. So temperature regulating, I hope it'll help him out a little bit. Now this is I found this in a tote, mixed match of plates and glasses. None of it matched, but I found this. I do like that petite pastel look of little flowers on it. And you can see it's got a little bit of stain, and I think that's about the only place on it. But it is a Homer Laughlin. I believe it says D 1949 or 49, which is 1949. But yeah, I thought it'll go in good somewhere up here when we start redecorating. I'm already itching to redecorate after Easter. As hard as it was for me to get Easter down pat, I'm already thinking about redecorating. I also got 3 boxes of landscape edging. It looks like plastic stoneware, the edging that you put around your flower bed borders. There's 3 boxes of it, and I think it covers 10 foot a box, so 30 foot of that. So 3 boxes of that and that. I'll try to get a picture of that because it's outside. That was $10. So we went to the first estate sale. I'll start speaking correctly in a minute. The first estate sale was day 1. And of course you have to pay day 1 prices. So the first thing that I picked up, I saw it in the pictures, and we were like 5, 6, 7, somewhere like that in line. We got there, like I said, we did the yard sale, then we went straight over there. We were still 45 minutes early. We got out, we stood in line. A little old couple that were there, they're married 45 years, and he admitted that he was the one that drug the wife to all these sales. So this was the first thing I saw it in the pictures, and I was telling my husband, I said, if I can't get there first, I know you don't mind elbowing people, you get in that room. But no one was competing for the Christmas. There was other things that people flocked to. I don't know why, but I picked this up. It's a shiny, bright box. I'm more for the box than anything else. I mean, what's inside is kind of a mishmash. mess. As you can see, this one I don't know what it is, and it is dirty. And there's no good way, I don't think, to clean these, really. This is probably a Shiny Bright, but it doesn't have a top. There's another one that doesn't have a top. These are newer versions. Now this one does have a Shiny Bright top. Not in the best of shape, but you know, hey, I don't know what that stuff is. It's sticky. It's stuck on there. But you can see the typical crimped Shiny Bright top. And then this one is smaller than those. Watching my chickens out here in the backyard. But you can see the top. That looks really old to me. Just as small as it is. I don't think that's a Kugel. I think the Kugels. Anyway, I think they're more flat to the surface than that. But I do believe it's old. So that was $4 for that box. And I went outside and pried off the little, because I don't know why, but they put the stickers on the paper box. So I went outside and very carefully pried that off. This was the biggest ticket item. And this finial on top is really making me nervous because it does move. But it was 20 bucks, and it is a mirror. You can see that detail. So there's a color in that detail. And there's the top of it. You can see cracks in the wood. And here's the back of it. It's not very big, as you can tell. So it's just perfect to stick anywhere. But yeah, I like the mirror. So 20 bucks, that was the biggest thing. I think she only charged me for that and the Christmas bulbs and the two things that I'm about to show you. And then the other two things she gave me for free. I didn't necessarily go for these. They were in the kitchen up above the stove where the exhausted was. It had a shelf. And there was 4 different ones up there. And I just reached over and picked 2 of them down. They weren't priced. And the girl looked at me like she had never seen them before in her life. So she gave me one for $8, which is this one. I like that detail. Just, what was that, Art Nouveau, Art Deco look to it. Which I don't think is that old. It's no mark, but is in really good shape. Be great for fall. And then this one does say USA. If I get it right. USA. And it has that duckbill pour spout, kind of like a batter pitcher. But you can see how big it is. Anyway, they're both in great shape, but like I said, they'll probably come out around fall. Now this she gave me, she asked me, did you have a kerosene lamp? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I got one at the, matter of fact, the same company, the last sale, that little kerosene lamp that didn't have the chimney that I showed you in the last video. I bought this for that. It's smaller because they had other chimneys in there like I already have, so I compared it, and this is smaller than the ones that I have, but it's still just a tiny bit too big for that lamp. So I just got an extra chimney in my possession because it won't fit. I think she gave me that and these. They were not marked. They don't have stoppers. But I passed them by. They were on the table a couple of times. I walked by them, but then I thought, I have a butter dish that looks exactly like these and feels like them as well. I don't think it's Majolica, but anyway, I thought these would go perfect with that butter dish because I plan on selling the butter dish, so those will probably just get stuck in with that. And I think she gave me those as well. Now this is the one thing, we did go to that antique store, and poor Jason, it was his idea to stop, and he struck out. He struck out at every sale. He didn't get anything. But I did get this one little chicken. It's only $3 in someone's booth. It is a shaker. But you can see he's got one good eye on that side. He's been in a fight, ain't got one on that side, but yeah. I don't know. Is the beak broken off? I think he's just lived a hard life. But he's a cute little rooster, and we're gonna stick him somewhere. So the second sale, and it's in the shop along with me at the beginning. I loved that house. I can't say it enough. I loved that house. That was the only reason I really wanted to go to that estate sale. There were some things that were interesting in the pictures, and one thing I actually did get, but I just love the look of that house. I love that house. It is for sale. I want to say somebody said 175. I'm not quite sure. It does need updating. I'll grant you that. It does need updating and touching up, but it had built-ins, the tri-cornered cabinets in the dining room, both of them, 2 on opposite side of the doors, built-ins. There's my little tri-corner cabinet. It is not built in, and it is not old. My husband built that for me out of scrap wood. He did a really good job. But they had built-ins in the kitchen. There was a telephone nook there, and it was an odd room. It just like all the other rooms converged into that room. It had like 5 doors in it. You could go to the bathroom, you could go to the kitchen, you could go to the den, you could go to a bedroom. It was just all 5 doors, this little bitty room. And it had a bookshelf and that telephone nook. So, also in the kitchen, the built-ins, one of them was a sewing station. It had a sewing machine there. But in the pictures, I thought it was an intercom system. But when we saw it, it was a flip-down record player. And I thought, that if that doesn't tell you how old this house is. They didn't have boom boxes or radios or TVs in the kitchen. They had a record player in the kitchen. Now me, those are the kinds of things that I would definitely leave in that house. Would I use it? Probably not. But it would be one of those quirky things that I think the next generation should see. And I would definitely leave it in that house. That big island that was in that kitchen, it had drawers that was this deep. I remember telling my husband, I said, do you know how much crap I could store in those drawers? It had a Lazy Susan. I took pictures of it. We're going to attach the pictures. It had a Lazy Susan in the corner, a wooden Lazy Susan. Oh, I love that house. I can't say it enough. But it was not airtight. And you could tell that in the linens of the house. There was a lot of linens left. Sheets, pillowcases. The pillowcases, you know, where people put the intricate stuff on the edges. She had a lot of that, but it was all stained. They were all mildew stained. Different colors. Whites, she had blues, she had pinks. Beautiful, but stained. So I left most of that. I'll show you. I got a little bit, but not much. Now, it did have a mother-in-law suite in the back. That's where I started filming at. I thought I was in there by myself. When I first walked in, I thought I might have been in there by myself. And then I heard somebody in the back kind of rummaging around. And that's after she left when I kind of started talking to myself. I went to film the front, and then I went in the back where the back bedroom was, and I was filming in that, and I heard someone else come in the door, and the guy went straight to another part. I was filming the closet. I had not gotten around to the other side of the room. He went straight to a dresser and picked up one of those old celluloid Christmas Santa Claus reindeer sleighs with the solid red Santa Claus, you know, that said on it. He got that because I had not gotten around to seeing that yet, but he must have already known it was there because he went straight to it. They also, the hot dogger that I showed you in the beginning of that, I think he got that too. So I thought about going back and getting that hot dogger, but by that time he had already gotten it. But that, I don't think I got anything out of that house. I got a clock. I don't know that I got it in there. It's in pieces now. It is one of those old West clock travel clocks. And I got it because I thought I could take it out. It's one of those that had the thing, you know, the little thing at the bottom and the top, you know. But the back, the kickstand off the back was gone and was broken in some places. So I thought, well, I can take the clock part out. And I got home and I got my little screwdriver out. And this is a tip. If you go to an estate sale that has a garage or sheds out back and you think that's all guy stuff, I probably more than likely pick this up at an estate sale. It stays in my junk drawer in my kitchen, and it is a small screwdriver, flathead screwdriver. And that's what I use to take this thing apart. So every now and again it pays to go out there and look and see what might be useful to you. So I keep that, and it is a Craftsman. Stays in my little junk drawer. But I did take this apart thinking I could use it in some way. The top comes off, so I have to figure out how to, it's filthy. But I'm trying to figure out how I can keep that part on and use it this way, just for decoration, purely decoration. It wasn't working, so, you know. The rest of it will probably have to go because it's literally in pieces. I don't even remember. It was like I took out that last screw and it was like a transformer. It just fell apart. So I don't know how to put it back together. In the pictures, there was one thing that I saw that I was really hoping was there second day, and it was. And I almost forgot about it. I was walking through the kitchen and there was a laundry room off the kitchen. and that's where it was, and I grabbed it up. It is odd. I like it because it's odd. It isn't your everyday run-of-the-mill candle holder. This I'm pretty sure is brass, and this I'm pretty sure is copper. I was thinking it might have been something painted to look like copper, but then I started wiping it down, and this stuff in the corners turned like a neon green. So I'm thinking it's real copper. But as you can tell, it's a candle holder on one end. And this, they had that gunky floral gum stuff in the bottom. I pried that out as much as I could, as you can see. But yeah, you could do a little arrangement. I am not brilliant with fake flowers, so what I was thinking about is one of those like boxwood balls or something that go there, and then a candle there. But I just love the fact that it's just odd. I've never seen one like it before, and I was really happy that it was still there. It was marked at $8, but in case I don't tell you, or if I've already told you and I forgot, it was $10 for all of this. And most people would probably think it's all junk. So, you saw me pick up it was a piece of wood that had 3 digital, or not digital, it was the like a clock face thing. I'm sure it was humidity and barometer or whatever. I picked it up to look at it, and then I saw this underneath it, and I forgot it altogether. So I picked this up. I believe it's a lucite tissue holder. It might still be plastic, but I think it's lucite. It does have the hangers on the back. You can hang it on the wall if you want. The top comes off. I already have taken the top off. It comes off fine. It's just dirty. It needs to be cleaned. That may be for sale. Found this in the closet, one of the closets. Didn't look too much at the clothes there because, like I said, everything linen just, But it is, I believe it's fairly old as far as a hanger, the wooden hangers. And I'm going to show you in a second what you can do with that. Now, I like the old house smell when you open it up and you just smell the old. This one was a little bit different. Just elaborate on the linens. My husband has asthma, and he came in and he walked around for a while, and he says, I got to go back out. It's getting to me. So he walked back out, and even me, I could tell there was just something about it. It wasn't, wasn't pleasant smell. It wasn't totally, running me out of the house, but he was having trouble with it affecting him. So he left. He walked outside and stayed until I got through. Now, this was the only linen I picked up, and because it is still in the plastic. Cannon fine muslin, 2 pillowcases, this white. I don't think you can have enough white pillowcases. And there's nothing to me that beats vintage linen, nothing. So, and she had a lot of stuff in there, it was stained up with mildew. I picked these up, you saw me looking at these, and the guy has a dog that was running around, so I thought the dog was gonna get one, so I was kind of hurriedly getting them off the floor. The only thing I can see wrong with them is they may have a little bit of staining in the white threading up top, but you can see the little pearl and all. I don't know, that's not rickrack, just details. They're in great shape. They do not fit me. I'm pretty sure they were probably meant for the dainty ladies of the 50s or 60s or whatever, but those may be for sale someday. This I saw in the kitchen, that big green built-in. You saw me looking through all the aprons. I didn't get it. Well, I got one. Most of those I just didn't get. I had enough of them, or some like them, so I didn't get them. This I thought was an apron at first until I unfolded, and I thought it was a little girl's dress. It is, if you know, you know. It's stitched all the way across on the bottom. It closed it up. It has the opening here. So you put your clothespins. You would put this on a hanger. So we're going to use that old hanger. You would put this on a hanger, and you would put it on your clothesline. And you put your clothespins in there. And as you were going along, either taking the clothes off the line, you put the pins back in here, and this would go all the way down the line with you. I saw one of these at a festival one time, and I wanted one to put my rings, because I can a lot, to keep my canning rings in. And my husband was like, oh, I can make one of those. So he went to his grandmother, and she took over the project, and I don't think we really described it as well to her as we could have. She wound up making, if you ever see in my kitchen, those double doors in my pantry, there's something that looks like a little girl's shirt hanging on that door. I keep my rings in there. And it is basically a little girl's shirt. It's just sewed up on the bottom so nothing can fall through. So that's where my canning rings stay. But this was what I intended for my canning rings. Because you can always repurpose stuff. So, I mean, we don't have a clothesline. I toy with the idea of having a clothesline. I just like the idea of having your sheets out there blowing in the wind. Like right today, we've got a really windy day. Wouldn't take long to dry some sheets. And your comforters, I know mine catch heck in the washer and dryer. So it just, we grew up that way. We always had a clothesline because we didn't always have a dryer in the house. So my mother always had a clothesline, and I remember freezing my fingers off in the winter hanging out clothes. So that's one of the things that I've been after, and I was kind of excited to find it. I didn't know what it was until I really looked at it, and then I was really excited and couldn't stuff it in my bag fast enough. Now, I don't have any of the, what they call the hostess aprons, which is this little sheer muslin kind of thing. I think, yeah, her pocket, the bottom of her pocket is unsewed, or it's come apart, so you couldn't use that pocket. But it does have these little flowers sewn at the bottom. I think it just looks dainty. That's what you would put on, you know, if you had guests over and you were still in the kitchen. This may be for sale, and I'm pretty sure it is homemade. Like I said, she had her own sewing station, and I think it's just cool. I don't know why no one picked it up the first day. It's a hand puppet, a homemade hand puppet. You can see him. Just made out of felt. Little scraps of lace. I just think that's cool. That house, the mother-in-law suite, it had 2 twin beds. And it just reminded me of a time when grandkids would come and stay with the grandparents for the weekend. And that's kind of how you would put them up. Sorry if I'm shining. I'm warm. But the house, it had jigsaw puzzles, and it had board games, and it had books. Everything that would keep you entertained before digital came along. And it just, I don't know, it throws you back in time. I know I grew up mostly in the 80s that I remember. In the 90s, those were my years, formative years. But I grew up in a house where you had a formal living room and a formal dining room, just like this house. That's where your guests would go. You would greet your guests there. You would keep your guests in the dining room, and you would, or the living room, and you would feed them in the dining room. We had an eat-in kitchen and we had a den, but we had 2 formal rooms. And that's what this house reminded me of, was just, you know, home. And that's probably one of the reasons why I liked it so much. But I liked all the built-ins and all that stuff. I would definitely keep that. You did see me look in a closet. There was a bunch of picture frames, and yes, I did get excited. I even turned off the camera so I could look through them. Most of them were 8x10s. The little ones, I would like to have some smaller ones that were more intricate designed, but they were mostly the plain little gold brass ones that I already have, so I kind of left those alone. The only one I did pick up was this 5x7, and it's because of how it looked in the grooves there. I like that white look, and the little decorations there in the corners. It does have a kickstand, and that felt back. So pick that one up. These, like I said, there was a little bookcase there by the phone nook, and it had been ravaged. I think a lot of people the day before were looking for some of these smaller, more collectible books, which this isn't a collectible book, but it is called The Crucifixion of Philip Strong. Now, in the beginning of it, there's no copyright because the first few pages are missing, and some more pages are falling out, but it is a great decorative book. As you can see, well, I guess you can, maybe you can. Anyway, just a small little green book. I did find this one, excuse me, at the end. And the guy who was taking me out alluded to that there had been more the day before. And I guess somebody either passed this over or missed it. But it is poems from Robert Burns. And it is small. You can see how small it is. And it's thin. It's kind of flexible. But a little green book you can use for anything. Now, the last 3 things. These, I don't know why I picked them up. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I don't know if anybody would want these. But this is just weird to me. This is another level of rich bougie to me. If you can buy napkins, excuse me, and these are paper napkins in boxes like this, to use probably, I guess, at your fancy family get-togethers, you know. We just use a roll of paper towel or some Chinettes when we go to the park for a barbecue, but This is another level. So this is a partial box. So I picked this one up. And then this one I think is full. But again, I don't know. People made decoupage with them. I'm not quite sure. But I picked them up. It's just something weird, I guess, to keep from going in the trash heap. This is the last thing I think I have. When I started to go out to the carporch, is where they were set up to cash you out, there was a little room off the carporch, and I went in, and guess what I found? Another unintentional collection. So, whisk broom, and it has seen better days. It's rusty, it's dirty. I brought it home and laid it here on the table, and last night, I believe it was, I sat down, I was looking through, you know, I like to go through my treasures once again. I was looking through everything, and I picked it up, and I had it in my hand like this, and when I turned it over, there was a spider man. I don't know if it came out of the broom or if it was just hiding there, but I almost had a mini heart attack. My husband thought I was having another menopausal meltdown, but I was having a moment. But yeah, that's it. And like I said, all of that was $10. And I'm happy with it, more for the fact that we got to go to a place that we've never been before, and that house was worth the visit. I hope you enjoyed it as much. We'll show you some pictures at the end of some of the features that I was just talking about. And since this is almost going on 30 minutes, we probably won't have a chance to put that pea preservation video up with this one, so it'll probably go on the next one. So thank you for joining us here at South Georgia Home. I hope you're enjoying your week. I hope it's beautiful weather. It certainly is here. I hope you're getting out and enjoying it, and I hope you have a great week. So thank you for coming, and if you like us, give us a thumbs up, or please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks.